I want to mention also something that I believe everyone should be involved in to help manage their care. There is a software method. This is not a product. It's a software method called Open Notes, in which I'm one of the patients who has this, or any patient in a health care system that does this, can see every word that my doctors have written. Now, in our case, I go to the patient portal, the website where I schedule my appointments and everything, and I click the buttons to access my records. And it's written in doctor's vocabulary, but I get to look. So here's how important this can be. First of all, most medical records contain mistakes. I'll get back to that in a moment. And I can find those mistakes and help fix them so that the next doctor doesn't get the wrong idea. But also, if I forget, what did the doctor tell me to do? I can go online and look. So I become a better patient without bothering the doctor. And every time I do that, it doesn't cost anybody anything. So there you have, doctors often like to talk about the word compliance. Well, there you have the me being more compliant, following the plan better. I like to think of it as a plan that we develop together rather than the doctor's orders. Following the plan better, and all at no increased cost. Now, a lot of physicians have been very skeptical, saying patients would not want to look at that information and it would confuse them or worry them. The evidence has shown that the vast majority, and you can look this up, search Open Notes in any medical library or just on the internet, you'll find all the research and you can share it with others, that the vast majority of patients want to see they do not get frightened and good things happen. In particular, at the end, in the first paper that was published about this a few years ago, look at this. 99% of patients who had looked at their notes wanted to continue. Is that amazing? If you've ever looked at any medical research, you have never seen a 99% number. Now, what about the doctors? Well, 17 to 26% of doctors said they were going to stop. Now, the number changes because the study was done at 3 different hospitals at the same time. But when those doctors saw all the other benefits, not a single one disconnected. So here's the reality. 100% of doctors wanted to continue and 99% of patients. Are there any questions about whether you should try this? Now, since then, there have been some cases of a couple of doctors withdrawing, but we're now at the point in the US alone, where 7 million patients are doing this, and some number of thousands of doctors. And do we like it? Well, consider this. More than 85% of patients said now availability of their notes would influence their choice of doctors and hospitals and even health plans. Because once people have seen it, the vast majority want to get involved. So here's another thing where the future is changing due to technology. So let me ask, do you know what's in your family's records? Here's a picture of me when I was a baby with my mother. This woman is very important to me. Last weekend, the family got together for her 87th birthday party. And here's one of my sisters, one of the women whom, it's very common in many families around the world that there will be a woman who manages most people's care. And this is one of my 2 sisters who helped take care of Mom. And my mother had a hip replacement a few years ago. The surgery was good, but when she was transferred to another facility for rehab, somehow her thyroid condition came across backwards. It indicated in the chart the opposite of what she actually had. And so this is not just a risk to the patient. It means the best doctor in the world could have given her the wrong medicine and caused harm. Now, there's no way that every doctor can know every detail of every patient. It's the family who's able to do that. So this is why it's so important, if you are a family member, for you to be involved, and if you are a clinician, to welcome it when the family wants to be involved. See, empowered families can help if they have the information. After all, who has the most at stake with the accuracy, completeness, and availability of the medical record? Notice the title of the book is not "Doctors Are Dangerous" or anything like that. It's just let patients help. We perform better when we're informed better. Now, I have something humorous here as we come to a close. This is a quote from a famous physician a long time ago showing the old view. And this was quoted in the British Medical Journal a couple of years ago. It was titled, "Why Do Patients Need Information?" And the doctor's quote was, "Your patient has no more right to all the truth you know than he has to all the medicine in your saddlebags. He should get only just so much is as good for him." So there. Well, that was said in 1871, and it's not the way modern medicine is practiced. But you need to understand that there's still, culture changes hard, you know? Well, a lot has changed since then. So please help us have access to as much information as we want. And to return to where we started at the beginning of this talk, I imagine today Simone de Beauvoir would have a different view. She would encourage empowerment because, in addition to her book on coming of age, she's best known for writing the famous feminist book, The Second Sex. And in that book, look what she said. "There is no justification for present existence other than its expansion into an indefinitely open future." And that's how I feel about life at age 66. I do not feel like I've run out of time and it's time for me to wind down. I mean, I have one of these wristbands. The prices of these are coming down. It counts my footsteps. It measures how much sleep I get. Some people say, well, what are you going to do with that? Well, for me, I've lost 20 kilograms of weight using just this and various apps on my phone since I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic. And I did all of that without taking up any more time from my doctor, just by being better able to monitor what I'm doing. Well, you know, behavior change is not easy. Nobody says it is, but it is made much easier with good devices. And as the price of all things electronic and goes down and internet access increases, it's my hope that we'll have that for every citizen of the entire world. Geriatrics, the future of aging, is not what it used to be. 65 no longer means you're feeble. And I hope every one of you will learn what you can and spread the word about the new reality. Thanks so much for your attention.